presents to you Honest Talk.
Hi folks, today we find immense pleasure in introducing our honorable guest of this session, Padma Shri Professor H.C. Verma. H.C. Verma, who is a revered professor of physics in India, has retired from IIT Kanpur after 38 years of formal teaching. All of us who studied science up to class 12 know who H.C. Verma is. His concepts of physics has been a bible to a whole generation of engineering aspirants in the country. Its 2 volumes reached out to millions of students and remained a bestseller and an undeniable favorite, especially for those who adored physics. It would not be an exaggeration to say Verma's books are the key source of knowledge for students aspiring to get into the IITs, NIT, BITS Pilani and other reputed engineering colleges. For all his brilliance as a teacher, Professor Verma is a humble human being. For his representation of monkeys in the chapter on pulleys and strings, as well as his friendly approach towards concepts, he will always remain a favorite teacher even for those who were never had a chance to attend his classes. We are really thankful to him for taking the time out of his busy schedule to join us on our show. The presence of such a personality in this show is a blessing. We hope that the people who are watching this session are able to seek a little guidance and imbibe something from his thoughts. So, let's begin our talk with Padma Shri Professor H.C. Verma.
First of all, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is comparing the effectiveness of classroom and online learning. So, sir, what do you believe? My first question to you is online education is as easy, as convenient as it seems?
Well, there are some benefits and some shortcomings. The benefits are you can reach much wider audience at a time. So the effective utilization of your efforts. In classroom teaching, you are teaching some say 100 students or 50 students or 200 students like that. Whereas through this you can go for say 50,000 or 100,000 and so on. So that is one part. And especially when the teachers, the effective teachers, the teachers with emotions, the teachers with commitment, teachers with competence, that commodity is becoming rarer and rarer. So this efficiency matters, right? At what efficiency you are taking the output from that effort, that matters. And online classes will increase the efficiency many fold. So that is one. Then there are some advantages in this online mode which I never knew before I started giving this online courses. And the best one is that student has enough time to formulate his questions, to think on the doubts himself or herself, and then ask the question through whatever is that discussion forum in online teaching mode. Whereas in classroom, the student is in a very tight position. The lecture is going on, and then at some place some doubt came to mind. Now whether the student should try to formulate sentences to express that doubt or should listen to the ongoing lecture. All right, because the student is always in a dilemma that if I am thinking something else and the lecture is going ahead, I will not understand the next 4 lines, and then after that the entire lecture will be washed out. So the student doesn't have an opportunity really to ask the question. And if the student does ask a question, the teacher doesn't have time. The teacher has an agenda that in today's 50 minutes I have to finish this much. See, the person has done a lot of efforts and has planned what questions and what examples and what explanations, and so the plan is ready for 50 minutes. In that 50 minutes, maybe 5-7 minutes might have kept for question answers. In general, people don't do that. And then someone asks a question that comes as an interrupt. And the teacher also doesn't have time to think over the question the student has asked. See, it's not a GK who is the Prime Minister of India. It's not that. If the student has asked a question, especially in science subjects, the first thing a teacher has to do is to to find why this question was there in student's mind. If I had explained it so nicely, then why this question has come to his mind or her mind? So that genesis is important. And once you know that, okay, the basic confusion lies somewhere else, and because of that, this particular concept is not is being understood. Okay, then you can really do the justice. And for that, the teacher doesn't have time in a classroom situation. And therefore, this question answering and discussion, that doesn't happen there. And once the class is over, the teacher goes to staff room and student goes to hostel, and then next day a different topic and all that. But in this online mode, the student has enough time to rethink, and maybe the doubt will be clear by thinking and rethinking. And then if the student has to ask, can formulate very nice sentences to express the mind. And teacher also have enough time. So there is one big advantage of this online thing. I really understood it after giving the course. When some 4,000 questions were asked in 15 hours of my course content, then I thought, okay, how much academic activity is going on? 15 hours of total lecture, and 4,000 questions are being asked. And in that discussion forum, the students can reply to each other. So some 9,000 replies were posted, including my replies. Okay, so 4,000 questions are being asked, 9,000 answers are being given. See how much of academic activity is revolving after that lecture. Okay, so this is a very big advantage. Now the shortcomings. So first shortcoming is that the teacher will be really hard pressed if you want to avail these opportunities of online teaching. You will have to put in some 6 to 7 times more effort than in a normal classroom situation. In a normal classroom situation, I need to prepare, say, half an hour for 15 minutes of lecture, right? Or 1 hour, let's say 1 hour. Although I used to take much larger time, some 3-4 hours for 15-minute lecture, but I was famous for that, and that this person takes 3-4 hours for preparing this 15 minutes of lecture. Normally 1 hour is reasonably good, right? But here if you are doing this online, whether it is live or it is recorded, you have to put in some 6-7 hours, definitely 6-7 hours, 8 hours for a 15 minutes lecture, total time. The question answering, then your preparation, you are much more conscious. It is being recorded and it's being seen by so many thousand students. In classrooms is not a big problem, because if you write 2 into 3 equal to 7, some student will point out. But here no one is there to point out. Okay, so and then after that, listening to all those questions and answering. So the first thing is that teacher should be prepared. Is the teacher ready for that, to put in 6 to 7 times more effort? Generally, the teachers will not have that much of luxury. Okay. And then they will do some savvy type of thing. So that's one. Then the second is that if you are not really seeing the students, right? So you cannot online change your delivery, right? At IIT Kanpur, this used to happen. I always had 3-4 plans. If this doesn't work, I will do this. If this doesn't work, I will do this, and so on. So when I'm teaching to the students face to face, and I'm talking to them, I'm asking questions there, I just see their faces, I just read their minds, and then if I feel that no, this plan is not working, I'll change my plan. But here I am not seeing my students. Here I am only seeing the camera. So that advantage is gone, and therefore whatever I think is appropriate, that is the appropriate. Students have no role there. Offline they will ask questions next day, that is fine. But that delivery is already Done. That's one. Second thing, that in real teaching, it's not only the subject knowledge that you are passing on. For that, book is there. For that, so many Wikipedia is there. So many sites are there. So an effective teaching is not only the transmission of that subject knowledge or explaining that well, it's much more than that. It's much more than how you talk, how you smile, how you handle difficult situations, discipline. There are many characteristics are there. If you are in those conditions, then you grasp it much more. You have some kind of a respect, some kind of a thing. So all those, I don't know how to express it, but it's not just the subject statement A is this, and here is the explanation, and here is the derivation, and here is solution of this problem and solution of that problem. That is not effective teaching. That is not effective. You have to, somewhere you have to touch the hearts of the students, not only the minds of the students. And then your communication line will be really sharp, and then you can transmit, and then students can learn. See, in a classroom, you really don't train them much. It's only when they come to their hostel and after dinner, when they open their notes and open their textbooks and then do some calculations and then write some things, then only the students learn. The 50 minutes of classroom is really not enough for the teacher to teach that particular subject. If you just imagine that very nice lecture, very nicely explained and all that, and the student after that lecture does nothing to that. Okay, at the end of the year, how much you will learn from the lectures? So that learning is when the student does that self-study. And I always say that if in a BTech class or in a BSc class or a school even, in a day you have some 4 or 5 lectures, okay, 4 or 5 subjects, 4 or 5 different teachers. Now, which textbook you open? Is it chemistry, or is it English, or it is physics? Which textbook you open? You have learned all those things today. The period, there were periods for English, period for mathematics, period for biology, period for chemistry, period for physics. So you came home with all these 6 tasks. Now, which textbook you will pick up the first, and which textbook you will spend more time? There is the success of the teacher, right? So those qualities or those inspirations or those kind of curiosity, those kind of interests, which is much more easily inculcated in a classroom situation, in a face-to-face situation. It's very difficult to do that in this online mode. Although I do try to do at least some part of it through my online courses also, but it's much more difficult. So there are advantages and there are disadvantages.
All right, sir. I think you have covered all the aspect related to it, and of course, as you rightly said, that there are equal pros and cons. Sir, my next question to you, if we talk about online model, although many platforms have developed the virtual labs, but it is actually not that much effective. So that if you talk about the study model, then how would you look, which is the best model, online, offline, or a hybrid model?
No, if you are talking of experiments, virtual labs specifically?
No, sir. If we talk about complete study, means
complete, definitely hybrid, definitely have no reservations, no issues, so no rethink. Because as I said, you do advantages in online system, and you do have advantages in the face-to-face system. So why not develop a model where you take advantage of both, right? And not only that, they should not be seen in isolation. There should be a real mixing in such a way that most effective output can come out.
Sir, my next question to you, if what we have generally seen because of this pandemic, that mostly all colleges and all schools are providing education in online mode. There is a one problem which comes of attention spam of students. Usually, when they student learn from online, what they have, they open multiple tabs. In other tabs, they are doing different things at the same time and learning same in other tab. So, sir. I would request you to kindly, sir, suggest some measures or suggest some opinions what you have seen, how students can improve their attention spam in online mode.
Well, it's not a student's problem, a teacher's problem. Okay. In even in face-to-face classroom situation also, if you think of those 50 minutes, right, a student doesn't remain concentrated on that subject, what is being taught, for entire 50 minutes. And my guess would be that not more than 15-20 minutes the student can pay attention to it. And it's not one continuous 20 minutes. The student will somehow unknowingly, the attention will be diverted. And after 2 seconds or 30 seconds, the student will realize that, okay, I missed it. And then we'll come back to the class, and again it will go away, and so on. It's very difficult for how can I expect a 18-year-old child to pay attention to my talk? I am not that motivational, or I am not that dramatic. I don't know. I don't do those dramatic tricks. So, and I am not doing any kind of performance there, right? Yes, stage performance. And then I expect that the student should concentrate on my derivation of differential calculus and integral calculus. So even in a classroom situation, the attention span is not 15 minutes, is 15 minutes only. Okay, so that is there. Now, one thing is that because of that class ambience, the students, even if they are not in the classroom mentally, at least they are sitting there quietly. Okay, they are thinking something else, but at least physically they are sitting and they are looking in front only, towards the teacher only. So that is the difference. Here they have freedom. They can put their videos off, and then they go anywhere or do whatever they want. Or if it is a recorded lecture, then of course it's a complete freedom. Now, as far as this, if it is a recorded lecture, most of my classes are pre-recorded. I upload them at appropriate time on an appropriate day. Now, if it is a pre-recorded system, in fact, this attention span is absolutely no problem. Even if it is a 1-hour lecture, the student has complete freedom to see it in 5 different sessions. Okay. Look, 10 minutes now, and 10 minutes in the evening, and 30 minutes in the late night. The student has a complete freedom. So there is absolutely no problem of attention. Different students will have different time scales for this attention thing. Okay. So everyone can tune it. According to his or her own pace. Someone will be very happy to see the 40 minutes video in one go. Okay, why should I why should I not allow that? And if someone is for someone it is difficult to concentrate more than 10 minutes, it's good, no problem, absolutely no problem. Whereas in a lecture, it's a 50 minutes lecture or 40 minutes lecture, everyone has to sit through, and even if you are not able to concentrate, you have to every time stress your mind. Oh, I missed it, I started thinking something else. So it's much more pleasant to learn through this online videos and online lectures. You can choose your own pace. All right, so that attention span is not a problem. When I started my first online course was in 2016. I was advised that international studies show that the students do not have attention span in science subjects more than 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So keep your lectures in that time limit. I said, no, I will not do that. I will not do that. So my lectures will be 30 minutes at least. I would love to go even beyond, but 30 minutes is the minimum. And if I am getting 4,000 questions from 15 hours of lecture, do you think the students are not paying attention?
Indeed,
So
sir.
that attention span is absolutely not an issue at all. Not an issue at all. But if the teacher is not giving the right content in right fashion, if that is not exciting the students, if that is not touching their minds and brains and hearts, then it's the teacher's problem. Then the attention span will be much smaller, and people will not learn. People will not come to that lecture again. It's a 30 minutes lecture, suppose, and in 12 minutes I am so annoyed with it that not only that my attention is not there, even 2 hours later also I won't feel like going it back and seeing it further. So it's essentially the delivery which is important. It's essentially the teacher's commitment which is important, and for that teacher has to work hard. In online mode, the teacher has to work much harder. That's it.
Indeed, sir. I think it's a kind of privilege today that we are listening all these things from you. Sir, my next question to you is during this lockdown, whether it is a lack of availability or a lack of books were not produced at that large amount. So students, what they have did is that they started reading books also in a virtual in their tablet, laptop, mobile. So, sir, how do you look at? I want to know your opinion. Which, if we talk about studying, reading a book, which one is better choice? Reading book virtually or just paperback?
No, it depends. It depends. See, the different people are tuned to different technologies. Okay, since we had always done it with a hard copy of the books, so it feels much more comfortable if I have a hard copy book in my hands. All right, but at the same time, the students are spending so much of time on the screen, and from the very beginning they are tuned to that. So absolutely no problem. In whatever way people are comfortable, they can choose that, right? So I am also getting tuned to read more from this screen thing. The best part for me is that I can increase the font size according to my own requirement. In a hard copy book, I cannot do that. I can only change my specs. All right, more power, less power. I only can change my glasses. But here you can always zoom in, zoom out, and make it much more comfortable to you. So I'm also enjoying reading from the screen. So that's also not a big issue. Whatever way it suits, fine.
All right, sir. Sir, my next question to you, which I have got from one of my subscriber, the question is that which is the best time to study during? Some people says that it is morning is the best time for learning, and during night, which generally you have tired of full day, so which generally don't happen. So, sir, what would you recommend that which is the best time to study?
No. You do it one day this way, other day that way, and then choose whatever suits you is okay. There's no problem. In good old days, my father or elders used to say that early morning, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, that's the best time to study. Perhaps because there's no disturbances, there are other things, and you can concentrate more, and you have taken a good sleep, and so on and so on. But it all depends on the lifestyle. It all depends on what lifestyle you are leading. Okay, so for some people, one model will suit. For some people, other model will suit. See, regimentation is always bad. Okay, every person as an individual is unique. So we should not frame too many rules, because the rules can only be applied uniformly to everyone, and each individual has own identity, own uniqueness, right? So there should be minimal rules, and the student should be allowed to choose his or her own way to do it.
All right, sir. So you have mentioned many important points, many good points, but one which I like the most is that every person is unique in this world, and everyone has their own capabilities and own limitations. Sir, in same context, my next question to you, which of course I have got from one of my subscriber. Sir, during the college days, students, what we have seen that in good colleges, students have, apart from studies, they have many things to do. They can focus on their skills. They can learn many things. Apart from studies, they can participate in student organization and perform many things, go in different fields. So, sir, I want to know your opinion. How do you look at concentrating only on study, or participating in all the extracurricular with the studies?
Not all the activities. You have to make a balance. You have to make a balance. I'll just tell you a story. When I was in IIT, one day a person, parents in fact, both parents of a student came in my office, and that was the time when new admissions were going on. And this particular student who has qualified in JEE and was admitted to IIT Kanpur, the parents had brought that boy there, and they came to meet me and asked the same question. In fact, I told them that at IIT Kanpur you have so many clubs, electronics club and photography club and this and that. Whatever interests you, dance, music, whatever interests you, you do have a club here. So all these kinds of opportunities are there to learn. And immediately the father asked me that, is it mandatory to participate in these activities? I said, no, it is not mandatory, but it is useful. Yeah, no, he will only concentrate on his studies and he has to get good grades and this and that. So, right. So I try to counsel them that no, for an all-round development, only studies is not good. One has to interact with the society. Ultimately, you have to go in the society, right? Oh, the grade cards will not give you a very good career. Wherever you are placed, you have to interact with people. So those kind of training should be there in student life. Although I tried to counsel them, but they were absolutely not convinced, and they instructed the student that concentrate your studies. Don't go for all these alpha things. Okay. Now, 2 days down the line, I got a phone call in the morning. I was sitting in my laboratory on the floor. My students were there. We were discussing some research topic, and there was a phone call when I received. Then the person introduced that I am such and such. I met you 2 days ago, and he was weeping. The father was weeping, crying, literally crying over phone. And he asked me, can he come and talk to me? And said, okay, please come. So he came, both the parents came. And then he told me that the student is saying that I want to study in IIT Kanpur, वापस घर चलो. They were from Vadodara. Then I asked, क्या हो गया, ऐसा क्या हो गया भाई? They said कि नहीं, वो तो उसका तो बहुत ragging हो गया. I was shocked. IIT Kanpur में ragging? वो तो होता ही नहीं है बिल्कुल. तो हमने कहा नहीं ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? That is absolutely unbelievable. कहाँ हो गया, क्या हो गया? हो सकता है कहीं कुछ बच्चों ने कर दिया, कुछ उल्टा का. तो कब हो गया? तो yesterday evening. अच्छा, evening में हो गया? कहाँ पे हो गया? In the hostel quadrangle. Hostel quadrangle in broad daylight, evening के अंदर में रैगिंग, ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है? अच्छा, तो कितने लोग थे वो रैगिंग करने वाले? तो वो बताए, अरे सब के सब थे, वो 8-10 लोग थे, और ये था और वो था और वो था. अच्छा, और रैगिंग कितने लोगों की हो रही थी? अरे सारे हॉस्टल की हो रही थी, पूरे 250 लोगों की. अच्छा, तो उसमें कौन कौन थे वो रैगिंग करने वालों के अंदर में? कुछ आपको पता है, अंदाजा है? अरे सुपरिटेंडेंट खुद थे वहां पे, वार्डन थे हॉस्टल के वहां पर. ओके, और वो स्टूडेंट इज वेंट अपॉन कि नहीं हमें तो यहाँ रहना ही नहीं है, पापा वापस चलो, हमें एडमिशन नहीं चाहिए. तो जब आप स्टडी करो, अच्छे नंबर लाने हैं और कुछ नहीं करना, किसी से मिलना नहीं, किसी से बात नहीं करना, किसी एक्टिविटी में भाग लेना नहीं, दूसरी तरफ कोई दिमाग नहीं जाना चाहिए, ऐसे कर करके जब जेई पास कराते हैं ना, तो ऐसा प्रोडक्ट निकल करके आता है, फिर वो ऐसा प्रोडक्ट निकल करके आता है। तो इसलिए जरूर भाग लेना चाहिए एक्टिविटीज के अंदर में, जरूर लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करना चाहिए, नए किस्म के सिचुएशंस पैदा होते हैं ना। स्टडीज के अंदर में इट्स ऑल वेल डिफाइंड। इफ आई एम स्टडीइंग से स्पेशल थियोरेटिकल एक्टिविटी, आई नो व्हाट इज देयर टू कम, I know that you have to do length contraction and you have to do time dilation, you have to solve these problems and learn these equations and so on. It is all predicted, all fixed. Whereas when you are doing some real activity with a team, then different kind of situations will pop up. All right? And you will have opportunities to learn, okay, ऐसा होता है तो ऐसा करना चाहिए, वैसा होता है तो वैसा करना चाहिए, ऐसे में हमने ऐसे हैंडल किया था सिचुएशन, वैसे में हमने वैसा हैंडल किया था, तो your brain get trained for those things. So therefore there should be a balance. ये है कि in all these institutions, as I said, that you name it and you have a club for that. So you have so many activities available and you may get swayed away. आपको हर चीज में बहुत मन लग जाएगा, तो आप ये भी करोगे, आप वो भी करोगे, वो भी, स्टडीज को आप पीछे छोड़ दोगे। तो आपको एक बैलेंस बना करके चलना पड़ेगा। आपको अच्छे ग्रेड कार्ड तो लाना है, अच्छे ग्रेड कार्ड लाने के लिए ही आपके पिताजी ने आपको यहाँ पे भेजा है, तो आपको उसको रेस्पेक्ट करना चाहिए। आप उनको अच्छी खुशियाँ दोगे अगर आप अच्छा ग्रेड कार्ड उनके सामने रखोगे। तो अच्छे ग्रेड कार्ड तो लाना आपका फर्ज है, आपका कर्तव्य है, बट आपके अंदर ग्रेड कार्ड के साथ साथ स्किल्स भी डेवलप हो रहे हैं टू हैंडल न्यूअर सिचुएशंस। ये बहुत जरूरी है, और इसलिए कुछ न कुछ थोड़ी सी एक्टिविटी साथ में जरूर लेनी चाहिए, लेकिन स्वेड अवे नहीं हो जाना चाहिए कि पढ़ाई लिखाई तो बिल्कुल पीछे ही रह गई और हम खाली डिफरेंट एक्टिविटीज किए।
All right, sir, you have very rightly mentioned that there should be a proper balance between the studies and different cultural activities in which you are looking to participate. And also, I think in the school days, what we have seen in generally in Indian education system, during the school days, students never get into that much into activity side. They concentrate usually on their studies, but the best thing is that when they enter in college, there are multiple things to do. There is a lot to learn. In fact, clubs under the colleges which are working, they work like a separate organization. You can learn, they have a different positions in which you can get promoted as per your work. So there is a lot to learn. Sir, I think there is a lot also to learn from you and your definition of this all. But I don't want to take your much time today. We will look forward to conduct more session with you. Sir, moving to my last question of this session, what advice will be from your side to those students, those who are taking their online classes in this pandemic?
Yeah. See, it all depends. It all depends how creative you can be, right? You have enough time. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to college. So that commuting time at least you are saving, right? Commuting time at least you are saving. Then you have to dress up. If you have to go to college, you have to dress up. आप बाल बनाओगे तो शेविंग करोगे, ये वो करेंगे, बहुत सारा समय बचा रहे हो ना, तो use that in doing something very creative. And this is valid not only for students, for everyone. And now in this situation, in this COVID days, we were very concerned that students through these online classes are only doing theory, and that labs are absolutely closed. So the students are not getting exposed to any kind of, say, experimental. All right. So we started working on it. Okay, we started working on it, and then we developed experiments. And we sent to thousands of students write-up of those experiments. And the experiments were such that they could be done in their houses with the available materials in that family alone. Don't have to go to any market to purchase anything. don't have to go to your laboratory for having specific instruments, measuring instruments or assembling instruments. With the things that you have, for which every student, I'm very sure that the geometry box will be there, some that 6-inch plastic scale will be there with which you can measure length. And if you are doing an online course, you must have a phone, and that will have a stopwatch. Okay, so you can measure time, you can measure length, and then I can make dozens of experiments around that. And the beautiful thing is that in the lab, when we do experiments, we provide them definite set of materials. With those only they have to assemble the things. So it's all standard. You have to do this way, this way, this way. But here, that setup has to be designed. I say that, okay, hang this, what do you call, छन्ना, जैसे पूरी वूरी छानते हैं ना, तेल में जब पूरी बना करके छेद छेद जिसमें होते हैं. Some people call it channa, some people call it jharna, like that. So, and its handle has a hole, right? All those channas, in the handle you will have a hole. Of course, on that circular disc you have so many holes, but on the handle also you have a hole. Okay, so now I say that you hang this channa with some rigid support and then oscillate it, find its time period, find its center of mass, balancing on some sharp thing, find its center of mass, find the distance of the center of mass from that hole, and then you use that compound pendulum, physical pendulum equation, and find this value and that value and moment of inertia. So my experiments will have all the ingredients: taking the measurements, repeating it, doing statistical analysis, average, standard deviation, error analysis, graph plotting, and analysis from graph. Everything were there, and we did it. So as a kuch creative karo, you have enough time, come out with something very creative, very new. This crisis has to be converted into opportunities. All right, all these crises has to be converted into bigger opportunities. So that's the message. That's what I would like to say.
It was
Thank
really
you
a
very
very
much.
wonderful answer, and I say that it is really a very wonderful message and advice to the students. And you have mentioned a very correctly point that we have to convert this crisis into an opportunity, because the time which we have got in this time we have never got, and I don't expect that in future we can.
Yeah, we should not.
Yes. So, sir, thank you so much for joining, and I think it's a kind of privilege that you have joined us today. We look forward, sir, conduct more session with you. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and giving your important time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe.